Every day, Vilma used to drop Anna at her home since it was on her way. However, after hearing Vilma's rant about how he didn't out the other day, Eleazar planned for a date night. "Anna, how will you go home?" Vilma asked. "I'll book a cab. You guys should get going now," Anna replied while checking for a cab in an app. "We can drop you. It won't be a problem for us." Eleazar joined them. "It's okay. This is not the first time I'm traveling alone." Meanwhile, Vilma and Eleazar bid her goodbye. Anna was notified that Leon had asked her to meet him. Now, what does he want? She huffed. "Miss Areola, I am sorry to bother you, but I need some data urgently," Leon said without glancing at her and working on HJ's laptop. "I need the customer satisfaction report for the last quarter. I hate to say this, but you have only 30 minutes to pull the data. 30 minutes are too less of time. I need to run a program to retrieve millions of customer feedback for the last 3 months," Anna said in exasperation. Leon stopped typing and raked his hair in annoyance. He rubbed his forehead, contemplating, and suddenly he asked Anna, "When two can pull the data and create a report, what's the minimum time it will take?" "Maybe less than 2 hours," Anna replied in her professional tone. "Is there anyone else from your team available right now?" "No, they all left for the day," Anna replied. "Okay, you go back and start retrieving the data," Leon said while continuing with his work. Anna wanted to retort, but before that, Leon added, "If it were not urgent, I wouldn't have asked you anyway. I will also work along with you." What does he know about creating reports? He was a restaurant owner, Anna thought. Anna was lost in her thoughts when Leon asked her again, "Is there a problem?" She abruptly blurts out, "Do you even know how to pull data and create a report?" The next second, she froze and mentally slapped herself. What the hell? How does it matter to me? Leon stopped typing and looked at Fluesbed Anna. On a second thought, "Get your laptop over here," he said before adding, "On your way, ask housekeeping to get me a coffee. I hope you remember how I want it. Black coffee, no milk, no sugar." Asshole, she cursed him inwardly. What was that, by any chance? "Are you cursing me, Ms. Areola?" He smirked while saying, "Asshole," she again cursed. "No, Mr. Montenegro, how could I?" she said, giving a plastered smile. "So get going then, unless you want to spend the night in the office." With that, he waved angry Anna off. Reluctantly, Anna had to sit with him in his cabin. However, she was surprised to see his professional side. Although he was an asshole, he was very dedicated to his work. "Are you done checking me out?" Leon said all of a sudden without looking at Anna. "You wish?" Anna mentally rolled her eyes. Anna chooses not to answer him and continues with her work. Only she knows how petrified she was from inside to be with him. And the memories of their passionate night were still fresh along with his humiliation. On the other hand, Leon could feel his bulge throbbing between his thighs whenever Anna was tossing her falling hair or nibbling her lower lips in concentration. Her perfume was intoxicating him to an extent he had to rein his urge to crane her neck and sniff her like a wild dog. His gaze once fell over her bandaged wrist, and he frowned, pondering not seeing it the other day. For an hour, they worked in silence. Only the clicking of keyboard buttons was audible. All Anna wanted to do was finish the work as soon as possible and leave. However, she was facing a problem with coding the file. Seeing her annoyed, Leon silently walked over to her and glanced at her screen. Anna came to her senses and was startled when he leaned over her and said, "Line 35 of the program. Change the syntax and hit enter." When Anna rolled her eyes inwardly but obliged as he said, and soon the program gave the required result that was needed for the report. She exclaimed in joy, "How did you know that?" She turned towards Leon only to notice his face was just an inch away from her, and he was staring at her. "Just so you know, running a restaurant was my passion. But before that, I worked as an analyst too. 18 months of our marriage, and you don't even know your husband." It was more of disappointment than sarcasm. Anna was speechless, but their moment was interrupted by Eleazar's call. She blessed him for calling at the right time, while Leon felt the opposite. He cursed him for spoiling their moment. He wanted to say something more to her, but making an excuse of a call, she quickly moved away from him. Eleazar called to check whether she reached home or not. This gesture stirred a silent storm in Leon's heart. However, what irked him the most was the smile she had while talking to Eleazar. What Leon was unaware of was that Vilma was on the other side of the call and was chattering about Eleazar's unknown romantic side. Soon, her joy turned into scorn. "What do you mean you are alone with him?" Vilma yelled, making Anna pull away from her phone from her ear while Eleazar was cooling her down. When Anna felt a gaze on her back, she excused herself from the cabin and went out to speak in private. "Vilma, calm the hell down now," Anna snapped at her enraged friend. "Fine." Though Vilma was taken aback by her, she chose to act snobbish. "I can handle this. Sooner or later, I have to work for him and can't let personal issues affect my work ethics. Are we good now?" Hearing her confidence, Vilma didn't retort, however. After Anna ended the call, she turned to Eleazar and said, "Remember I told you about being a badass bitch?" She took it seriously. She snapped at me. "Can you believe that?" "Yes, I can. We can only support her, but in the end, it's her who needs to fight this. We will always be there for her." When Anna returned to the cabin, she was smiling, thinking about Vilma's reaction. However, it looked like Eleazar made her smile to Leon. Is he the reason that she changed all of a sudden? Leon thought while looking at Anna. "Who is he?" He blurts out. Anna's smile faded hearing Leon, and she frowned. "Excuse me?" "Excused. Who was on the call?" Leon said. She rolled her eyes and continued to work. She chose not to answer. Anna was a girl who believed silence is better than unnecessary drama in life. Even during their marriage, whenever there was an argument, she would remain silent. Firstly, it would avoid unnecessary complications, and secondly, it would spare her the guilt of hurting others with her words. But this trait of hers was something Leon never liked. To him, it looked like her arrogance, taking her silence as her arrogance. Leon marched towards her, turned her chair towards himself abruptly, and leaned. "Who was on that call, Anna?" Her heart beats rapidly with his sudden action and breath fanning her face. She shivered when she saw a rage in his eyes. "That Mr. Montenegro is none of your concern." She replied with a rasping breath, "Answer me, damn it, or Yoi will not like what I will do next." Leon thundered with a short breath in between the words. Anna was frightened, and to make matters worse, she was alone with him, but that doesn't mean she would let him walk over her again. This was it, she thought. "So be it then. He was one LF my clients," Anna replied. She was scared of him at that time, but she was more hurt by his behavior. He grabbed her neck on hearing her reply, but the next second loosened it when she said, "Isn't that what a whore should do, Mr. Montenegro?" He lowered his head and moved away from her in realization. He was still angry at her for talking to Eleazar, but he felt remorseful when she repeated his words. That day, he never meant to call her a whore, but it was his possessive beat who got enraged with jealousy when he saw other men in the bar drooling over her. He rubbed his temple while Anna coughed, taking a deep breath. Before she could balance her breathing, he said, "Get out right now." She felt humiliated. First, he called her for the reports and, for no reason, yelled at her for talking to her friend, and when she repeated his words, he shoved her out. She didn't wait for a second. Shoving her laptop in her bag clumsily with her trembling hand, she left without giving a back glance. Who does he think he is? I am not his toy that he could play with whenever he wants to. She was fuming. In her fury, she lost track of time and distance she traveled. When she came to her Sessons, she noticed Spee was already on the main road, away from her office, and the place looked almost deserted. To her luck, she got a cab and boarded it. Oblivious to Anna, Leon quietly followed her and hailed a taxi for her. Call it his possessiveness or gentleness. He interrogated the cab driver before sending it to Anna. He followed her, and once she reached her home, he turned his car.